Hello YouTubers, welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm your host, the Board Game Captain, and today I'm going to be reviewing and showing you how to play Among the Stars, a game designed by Vangelis Bagiartakis. I hope I did not mangle your name if you're watching. I'm going to show you there how it is spelled, so if you know how to pronounce it better, feel free to comment down below. This game was published by Stronghold Games and Artipia Games. Now, this is a game about building a space station, which the mechanics of which feel very much like a city planning or city building game. In addition, this uses card drafting elements, which is a very cool mechanic that I enjoy as well. Now, this is a 2 to 4 player game. It lasts about 30 minutes and is for ages 12 and up. So let's start there. Now, the 2 to 4 players, now for the main game, it really is 3 to 4 players. There are 2 variants in the book that allow you to play this game at 2 players. One is one that was come up with by the company, and another was one that was apparently a fan recommended one. Now, normally I'm a little put off when I see 2 to 4 players on the box, and then I get inside and there's an alternate variant for 2 players. But in this case, the variant that was suggested by a fan. Now, I don't know if this was from a previous edition or possibly during a Kickstarter where they have the rules up, but the fan suggested version is great. It's a really fun version and it plays just fine at 2 players. So even though normally I don't like that when they say 2 to 4 and it's really an alternate way to play in the 2 players, that particular version is so good that I have no problem with this being a 2 to 4 player game. Now, the 30 minutes is a little bit of an underestimate, especially if you're playing with more players. The more players you have, the longer it's going to take. So, generally speaking, I'd say it's more like, on average, probably about a 45-minute game. And as for the 12 and up, it's a pretty good estimate, though, if you have a child that you play with that's very used to games and is familiar with the types of mechanics that are in here, and is a couple years to a year younger than 12, but routinely gets games above their age recommendations, this would be fine for them as well. It's not that overly complicated. Now, let's have a look at what we have in the box. So, the first thing in the box is the rule book, which, as you can see here, is a nice full-color rule book. I'm going to open it up. You can see they have pictures of the cards and lots of text to describe all the different things, but then they also have diagrams to show them to you. It's a well done rule book. It's not bad. There's a couple things I think I might have done a little differently. I would have liked some of the diagrams to be bigger, but there's nothing really to complain about. This is a well done rule book. It doesn't really leave you with any major questions after reading it, so well done on the rule book. This definitely gets a thumbs up from me. Now, this is the scoreboard. So you each place your color chit on the board and use this to keep track of score. In addition, it keeps track of the turns in the game down here at the bottom. There is a chit that you put on here, and as you can see, around the different turn numbers, the arrows go in opposite directions, either clockwise or counterclockwise, and that's because the order of play changes depending on what number turn it is. Now, there is a turn limit, which is something you see in a lot of modern games, which keeps the game from going on forever. Because if you had said, in older games like Monopoly, where you used to have player elimination, the game could theoretically go on forever. But I like these turn limit games. You do 4 turns, you're done, count up the points and see who wins. Now, these are some of the smaller components here. These here are credits. These are the currency of the game. You use them to purchase cards from your hand to put into your space station. These are very important and get used every turn. These are energy cubes. Now, they're clear plastic cubes. They're nicely done. These work for their purpose. And these are very important for pieces of the station that require energy to function. So you start out in your space station with a main reactor, and you can build other power reactors as you go. And every reactor gets a number of energy cubes put on it, which then can be taken off when paying for a location in the space station that is within 2 spaces away from the reactor that needs an energy cube as part of its cost. So energy is another resource that is important to keep track of. And then we have these here. These are the different color score tokens. You put these on the scoreboard, and if you flip them over, you can see they have a plus 50 points. So if you go off the end of the board, which ends at 49, you can go right back to the 1 space and have it flipped for plus 50. So those components are all very good quality. I have no complaints about them. Now, most of the next set of components I want to show you are these cardboard tiles. These are the different races. Now, the races look like this. They give you a special ability, and in some cases, when they have really good special abilities, they might have disabilities as well to counterbalance them. And there's, as you can see here, this game comes with quite a few races. There's a lot of variety. Now, there are 2 ways you can pick your race. You could either do it randomly by shuffling these up face down and dealing 1 randomly to every player, or you can choose. And I always like to choose. I mean, I don't like to do the race selection in games randomly, because then sometimes you get a race you really don't want and it has an ability that you're not interested in. But with a number of races that they have here, if you get to select your race, it just, you're not going to wind up with a race you don't like. Everybody gets a species of alien that they enjoy using. And even if you're the last person to select, there's just so many and so many cool different abilities that everybody's going to find something that they like quite a bit. And the abilities in this particular game are quite cool. I like these a lot. Now, the next, basically the rest of the game components are cards. Now, the cards in this game are all perfectly square cards, and they have the Among the Stars logo and picture on the back of them. I had it upside down there. And then the space station components look like this. Now, this is the trade union headquarters. So it is yellow to signify that it is an economic location. It tells you how many credits it costs up there in the top corner there, the top right corner. It has the 4 credit symbol. And on the bottom, it tells you how you get victory points with this. Now, if the location required an energy cube, for instance, the Galactic Bank, another trade location, it would show an energy cube under the cost in the top right corner. So there's an energy cube there. This one requires an energy cube to pay for it. Now, there are lots of different station location types. This blue one here is the cargo hold, and so this one is economic. And then, for instance, this one here, the heavy ion cannon, which, as you can see, actually requires 2 energy cubes. This is red, which means it's a military location. There's lots of different colors. Every color is a different type, and a lot of times the points will refer to how many of certain types you have either adjacent to them or in your station. So what type you're using is rather important. Now, I'm not going to show all of these because there are quite a lot, but I do want to highlight a few specific other kinds of cards. So this is a power reactor. I talked briefly about them before. They do not have a color, but as you see there on the bottom, they get 2 energy cubes when you build one. Now, you can always buy one of these. These are in a stack next to the game board and can always be purchased. Another card I want to show that is very good is this game comes with these nice little cheat sheet cards to remind you of the order of play and the different things you can do in different turn segments. I love it when games include cheat sheets. Any game that doesn't include a cheat sheet at this point, my big question is why? You have to have a cheat sheets in your game. Now, let's see. There are main power reactors, which are the same as the other power reactors, except you start with them, and each one has an obvious color to match the color of the player it is for. And also, there are goal cards, and there are aggressive cards for the aggressive alternate mode of play. Now, I'm just going to show you some of the goal cards real quick. You get to get some of these, and they're like your secret objectives, things you're they're objectives that you're trying to work towards during the game. So for instance, this one says intergalactic trade. And you get 5 points, as you can see there on the bottom, if you build the most yellow locations. And then, for instance, there's one of those for each of the different colors, but then there's some that are a little different. For instance, this one says if you have the most currency at the end of the game, you get 3 victory points. These are really cool. These are a really cool way to get extra points during the game. Still, the vast majority of your points is by building the station itself, but these goals can give you just enough that if it's close, and often with this game the scores can be quite close, these can push you over your opponent. So very cool. So that's everything that comes in the box. Let's head to the table and I'll show you how the game plays, and then we'll come back. I'll tell you how it feels, I'll review it and rate it, and we'll get a second opinion from them. Okay, so here we can see a setup for a 3-player game of Among the Stars. Now, this is a rather small area to play Among the Stars in, and usually you have more space for each player. It's just that would be difficult to get all on camera. So we have the score tracker over here, and each player has their color tracker on the 0 score. The turn tracker here is on turn 1, showing a clockwise, and that's for the card drafting element. I'll get to that in a minute. Each player has their main power reactor in front of them, and each player has already chosen a race. So the player over here has chosen the VAC. Now the VAC have a cool ability where their power reactor actually counts as being every color. Now the cool thing with that is if you have any locations in your station that give you more points for every station location of a certain color, well, the reactor counts as every color. It'll work with all of those. So while it's not an active ability, it's a cool, very cool passive ability. Now the second player over here, who is playing the blue player, has taken the race Garn, Athak, Knock. Now the Garn, Athak, Knock have a really cool ability where once each year, and the years are the turns, if you will, once each year they are allowed to look at one of their opponent's hands and take one card from it before everyone decides the card to use. They then give them one of their own cards to replace it. Very cool ability, very useful in-game, very useful active ability. And the last player on this side of the table over here has chosen to be the Qualeen. Now the Qualeen have an ability where, in addition to the normal objectives that everyone can achieve, the Qualeen have a secret objective. They take an extra objective card, which they have over here, and they may or may not reveal it at the end of the game by their choice. If they reveal it, whoever achieved it, hopefully themselves, will get the extra points. If someone else would have achieved it, they can just keep it secret and not reveal it. So we've all done that. We have the deck of cards, which is made out of all the standard cards for a 3-player game. I've removed all of the 4-player cards. In addition, a 6 special cards per player has been added to the deck, and it's been shuffled up. So the deck differs significantly from game to game. Over here we have the power reactors, which anyone can purchase, and then over here we have the credits and energy cubes. These 3 cards here are the 3 objectives that anyone can try to achieve. There is Peace Among the Stars, the objective that says you get 5 victory points for having the most green locations in your station. There is Intergalactic Trade, which is the same but for yellow locations. And there's On Budget, which is having the most credits, and it will give you 3 victory points at the end of the game. Now, whoever has the most of those, the largest number, will achieve that goal. If there is a tie, no one achieves it. So everyone's ready. They're ready to start their first turn. So the first thing they do at the beginning of every turn is everyone gets 10 credits, and everyone draws 6 cards. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is every power reactor gets 2 energy cubes as you start. So 10 credits, so take a 5 for everyone. and then 5 ones for everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So once you've given the 10 credits, the next thing, again, like I said, is you get a 6-card hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now everybody is ready to go. So now, simultaneously, everyone will look at their hand, and they'll pick a card that they're going to put down face down in front of themselves. Now I'm going to do this fairly quickly so as not to hold up the explanation. So this player is going to pick that card there, and then you pass the cards in the direction that the current turn says to pass them. So the rest of his cards go to his left, to the player over here. This player takes a look and picks this card here, and then passes his cards to this player here. And this player takes a look and picks this card here and passes his cards to the next player over there. Then at the same time, everybody reveals what card they have chosen by flipping them face up. And again, simultaneously, they decide what to do now with the cards. You have 3 options for the card you have chosen. You can play the card. Now, let's say this player over here decides they want to play the card. Their card is the holographic display area, and it costs 2 credits and an energy cube. They're going to add it orthogonally adjacent to one of the spaces already on their station, which at this point is just the main reactor. It costs 2 credits, so they're going to spend 2 credits. 1 energy cube, so they're going to spend one of the energy cubes from the main reactor. Now you can only spend these if you're within 2 spaces away from the place with the energy cubes, which is why, in addition to running out of energy cubes, you may need to build more power reactors later. And this immediately gives them 2 victory points plus 1 victory point for every adjacent station location. Now, white areas here, you always get the victory points immediately for the location, but the white area means the effect of the +1 for every adjacent happens right away, whereas yellow areas mean it happens at the end of the game. So this happens right away, so he has 1 adjacent location, that is 3 victory points. He's the green player, so we will move green up, which, whoops, I did not actually put a green one out. I put a yellow instead. So let me just use the yellow to represent him. The yellow, they get 3 points. So we move them up to 3. Now, the player over here decides also to play their station location. So they spend 3 credits because they have the Alien Bazaar, which costs 3 credits and no energy cubes. And as you can see, the Alien Bazaar gives 3 victory points, and it has a yellow ability there, which means at the end of the game, it gives +2 victory points if there are 3 or more green locations within 2 spaces of the Alien Bazaar. So that doesn't happen right away, but the 3 victory points does, so we will give them 3 victory points. So they go up and join the other player. The last one over here, they are also going to play their location, which is the shield generator, which costs them 3 credits and an energy cube, which they're going to spend. It immediately gives them 4 victory points and has an immediate ability which says +2 victory points for each additional energy spent when playing the shield generator. They're going to use their other energy cube to do that, which immediately means they get 6 victory points and take an early lead. Now, everyone is done. The cards were passed. You look at your new hand and you do it again. So we take a look over here and we say, all right, I'm going to put this card down, pass the cards to the left. This player is going to put this card down, pass his cards to the left. And this player is going to put this card down and pass those to the left. So again, we reveal the cards that we have placed down in front of us. And then we decide what we do with them. So the player over here decides they want to buy their turret, so they're going to make it adjacent to another location already on their station. It costs them 1 energy cube, which this energy cube is up to 2 away, and 1 credit to do it. It gives them 2 victory points. That's 2 victory points for them. And then it has a yellow ability that will give them +1 victory point for all other turrets in the station, but that is at the end of the game, so it doesn't affect them right now. This player over here put out the Opera House, but now they're going to choose not to use it. If you don't want to use it, there are 2 other options you have. You can discard it and take credits instead, which is 3 credits if you want, or you can discard it and pay the cost to build a new power reactor. Now they've just used up all their power and they would like another power reactor. So they're going to get rid of the Opera House. Power reactors cost 1 credit. They're going to spend 1 credit and they're going to buy a new power reactor, which immediately gets 2 energy cubes. And the player over here decides they want to get some more money. Maybe they saw something expensive in a hand they passed around that's about to be coming back to them and they want lots of money. So they're going to discard their card and get 3 more credits. So this is how the game goes. Every turn, you get your new hand that you didn't have before because your opponent just passed it to you. You put a card down, everybody puts a card down, everybody flips it up. You decide if you want to add it to your station, discard it and buy a power reactor, or discard it for credits. Your credits will run out probably within the year, so you will wind up discarding for credits at some point. You can use your abilities if they come up, and you're trying to make the space station that gives you the most points by the end of the game. Now, like I said, this is a fairly tight area to play on. Usually you want more area to sprawl out with your space station, but I needed to keep it small just so you could see what I was doing for the video. Once everyone plays all of the cards, and it is very interesting that you can keep an eye on, let's say in your first hand you're dealt cards and you have a card you want to play right away, but there's another card you want. If you pass that to the left and the next person doesn't play it and then they pass it to the left from there and the next person doesn't play it, you know that's coming right back around to you, so you can prepare for that, which might be what this player is doing while they got more credits. Maybe they wanted to play something that was rather expensive that no one has played. So you keep going in this manner. When it gets to the point where everyone plays the one and only card that they have, the year is over. You take a quick look and make sure no one else is breaking rules by how they made their space station. For instance, some areas have a max number of that card that can appear in your space station. This one, for instance, the shield generator, says max 1 where my thumb is pointing to it there. Now that means if someone accidentally built 2 shield generators, they have to remove the newest one if they can. There are rules on how to do that. Once you've done that, you move on to the second year, where the direction that you pass your cards is reversed, but otherwise it plays exactly the same as the first year. You do this 4 times through 4 years, and then at the end of the game, you check to see what objectives you have achieved. You add those to your score. You check to see the yellow abilities that are in your station and how much extra points they give you. You add those to your score, and whoever has the highest score total wins the game of Among the Stars. So now let's head back. I'll tell you how it feels. I'll review it and I'll rate it, and we'll get a second opinion from Len. Okay, so that was how you play a game of Among the Stars. Now, Among the Stars has a really cool drafting element. Plus, it's one of those games where as you're building something and it gets large, your station gets bigger and bigger. It's one of those games that by the end you feel like you've accomplished something. Even when you don't win. It's just like, oh, look how cool my space station is. I made a pattern out of it, and I was so economical, and I made sure to have power supplies every 3 spaces, so I was able to always supply power to the things I was making. That's another thing I forgot to mention. You get bonus points for every power generator that has no more energy cubes on it at the end of the game. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool game. I very much enjoy it. It feels, like I said, it gives you that feeling like you've accomplished something. It gives you the feeling like you have built something. And in addition to that, it's just an enjoyable game. The trying to keep track of cards as you pass them around and go, ooh, so I had that space cannon in the hand and he didn't play it. And then he passed it to her and she didn't play it. That's here. It's come back to me. Keeping track of that can be really cool. It can be hard, but it can be cool if you're able to do it. There is a bit of a learning curve when it comes to that. But it's a lot of fun. And you don't have to keep track. You can just wing it. And you can just say, okay, these are the cards I have right now. Which is the best of these cards to play? I like this game a lot. And that's why I give Among the Stars 8 out of 10 stars, because I love this game. I've enjoyed playing it at 4 players, 3 players, and 2 players. Though specifically, I like it at the 2-player mode that was suggested by a fan of the game rather than the one that the studio actually came up with. I have never tried the aggressive version. I generally like the way it plays in its normal variant because it does almost feel like everyone's playing a separate solitary game unless one of your abilities directly affects someone else. There's no attacking each other, but it's cool because no one's going to mess with your station. You have your cards, you have your station, and no one is going to damage it or destroy parts of it. The largest amount of interaction is that the cards you don't want, the cards you're not using, you're giving to your opponents. But I like it that way. I think it plays really well that way. So again, 8 out of 10 stars because I've really enjoyed playing this game a lot. And I would play it anytime someone asks, and I ask to play it quite a bit. Now, one special note though, if you enjoy this game, make sure to buy it and buy it immediately because I have been noticing less and less online retailers that are carrying this. This game came out in 2012, so it's been out for a while, and some of the online retailers that used to have this are out of stock and don't seem to be restocking it. I do still see it available from the official Stronghold Games website, so you can get it there if you can't find it anywhere else. But I have also seen a handful of retailers that still have a small amount of stock left. So if this does sound like a game for you, be sure to snap it up. But now, let's get a second opinion. Lynn, how many stars out of 10 would you give to Among the Stars?
7.
So Lynn gave it 7, which is not quite as high as my 8, but it's still a positive review. Lynn has said to me that she enjoys this game, and she doesn't ever really seem like she wants to say no when I ask to play it, but she says she just doesn't seem to enjoy it as much as I do. So there you have it. It's 1 thumb up from me and 1 thumb up from Lynn. This is definitely a 2 thumbs up review. So if you have any questions or comments, either about this video or about the game Among the Stars, feel free to put them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see me do more like it, give us a like, share this video, and subscribe to the Board Game Kaptain, that's Captain spelt with a K, on YouTube. And until next time, game on.